Hi there, welcome back to this masterclass series. So, in this training, we're going to talk about how to end cravings, right? So, of course, if you're dealing with cravings, then you have to rely on willpower in order to eat healthy. And that is something that runs out, right? We can only, if our craving that something inside of us, something invisible force inside of your body is telling you to eat more or to eat a lot of something, it's because it's missing something. Um, and so, we don't want to have to use willpower to avoid eating foods forever, because not only is that not sustainable, but it's not fun. But we actually want to understand why our body is craving certain things. Okay, so how can you not have cravings when you're low on protein and fat? You can't digest and assimilate them, so you're going to be low in them and you're going to be constantly craving. It's going to tell you keep eating, keep eating, keep eating, and it's going to tell you to keep eating the carb foods that you're eating until you get enough protein from them. But unfortunately, when your body is eating a lot of, in order to get protein and fat out of those carb foods, you have to eat a ton of them to get the amount that your body needs of protein and fat. And then that's what actually leads to overeating. So cravings, deficiencies lead to cravings and overeating. Okay, so even though your body is crying for protein and fat, what you're going to actually crave is carbs because that's what you can digest. Okay. And not to mention, when people have digestive issues, they just feel better on actually, the more processed the food is, the more refined, that's easier to digest because there's not much you have to break down in it, right? So you'll get more energy immediately. So you'll feel better digesting carbs. But then, of course, you're going to crash after because you're getting so much sugar and you're not getting those balancing proteins and fats. Okay. And then that's going to lead to, of course, the binging. So cravings are just a signal from your body that it's not getting what it needs. It doesn't mean that the Oreos that you crave are like a healthy choice and that you need it just because you crave it. It just means your body knows it can quickly turn that Oreo into energy in a pinch. And that gives you that temporary lift, right? And it doesn't just lift you energy wise, it lifts you like mood wise, right? Like the dopamine or serotonin hit that we get from these processed foods. Okay, so if you are craving a lot of foods, especially because if you're lacking protein and fat, then you're also going to be low in minerals, right? Because you're not eating a balanced diet. And when your minerals are low, that causes people to crave carbs even more. And that's to raise your blood glucose to feel better. So minerals are the spark of your life, and that's what keeps your energy flowing. So you need to get a diet that is nutrient dense and has a lot of minerals in it in order for you to feel good. Okay, so we can only access those minerals if we properly break down the food. So we need also actually fat to absorb minerals. So we need to actually have optimal digestion in order to be able to extract the minerals from that food, which is something that we typically we're not having, right? If we're having trouble digesting protein and we're having trouble digesting fat, and our digestion is so bad that even, healthy whole food carbs are hard to digest and give us gas and bloating. So we end up eating more refined carbs. It means we're just not getting food, like absorbing much nutrients from food at all. Okay. So, is it any wonder that our bodies are screaming for easy to break down junk food fuel? Because we're just using glucose to stimulate us, just to not, fall asleep, and to use it to compensate for the fact that we don't feel good emotionally as well, right? And then it makes it worse. People will then have lots of up and down mood swings, but also you feel bad about yourself when you eat poor quality food, right? Like you regret it because you feel gross after, right? So you can see why willpower doesn't work for people. It's not a match for a body that's not getting the nutrients that it needs to function correctly. Those cravings have to be addressed at the root cause for them to go away. Okay, so proper fat and mineral assimilation plus breaking down protein equals proper nutrition. Okay. So you can actually reduce your cravings and your need for carbs, and then allow those insulin levels to come down and the stored fat that you have on your body to be used as fuel instead, right? Like you don't need to, eat all these carbs because you already have all this excess body fat, right? People don't really understand that sugar in food gets turned into fat in your body. And it's because of this hormone insulin, right? Whereas protein and fats, they don't typically stimulate much insulin. But again, if you can't digest them, then how are you going to reduce your carbs? Because you literally can't digest the protein and fat foods, and you're going to feel like you're starving. So of course, you're just going to eat more carbs. It's not a personality problem. It's not like a problem of willpower. It's a problem of an imbalance that's being driven from inside of you, driving you to eat those foods. Because you need energy, right? So most diets out there have you restrict a specific type of food, whether it's, I don't know what happened to my shirt there. Hello, why is it doing that? Oh, that is so weird. It doesn't want to let me, oh, there we go. Okay. Most diets out there have you restrict a specific type of food. So whether that's fat, carbs, animal protein, etc. Right? It's like we talked about the different diets out there that do that. Okay, so if you reduce your carbs, but you can't process protein, fat, and minerals, then that's going to fail because you're going to have tons of cravings. And you're just going to feel gross, right? Because you're not processing the food well. If you reduce the fat or the protein, but your body isn't processing the carbs well, then that's not going to work either. Okay, because you're going to have no energy and insatiable cravings. So the first step is to use the foods that your body can actually process correctly right now. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you, the perfect diet is like, the super low carb diet. If you can't digest fat, then how are you going to eat low carb? You can't. So we have to actually figure out step by step how to get your body to a place where it can actually digest your protein, carbs, and fat in a natural way where you're not just emphasizing one or de-emphasizing the other, but that you're eating a balanced diet. Okay, so the first step is getting the right foods for where you're at now. So not the right foods, like the perfect diet. It's like where it's the perfect diet for you right now that meets you where you're at. The second step is optimizing your stomach acid and bile. Okay, so you got the right diet that you can actually digest in this minute. Then you're going to optimize your stomach acid and bile so that you can get nutrients from those foods that you're eating. And then those nutrients will help you actually build your stomach acid and your bile, right? So this is like a good pattern where as you improve your digestion, then you can get more nutrition from the food. Okay. And then you make the third step is that you make adjustments to your diet along the way that help your body to process a wider variety of foods, right? Because you want to be someone who can eat anything in moderation without having to pay for it later, without having to pay for it with stomach pain or gas or bloating or weight gain. You want to just be healthy. So, a healthy body doesn't have to be extreme about food. So that's how like if you still have all these food intolerances, food sensitivities, and you have gas and bloating and all these things, it's just a sign your body's telling you just really have more healing to do. Okay, so by now you can see why it's so crucial to learn how to look at your own unique chemistry and adapt your food choices to ones that are right for you as an individual based on your own unique physiology. So everyone is different and starting from a different state of digestive health. And that's why you need to actually approach weight loss from a bio-individual approach.